Hey guys, Mo Morales here. Hope you're doing well. So recently I had a gear catastrophe. My A6700 took a hard spill. It would cost more to repair it with labor and parts than it cost to replace it. So I wasn't in a hurry to replace it, so I just have been in a photography free conundrum. Words are exciting, and I just have been using my cell phones and stuff like that to enjoy my personal photography. Luckily for me, I have a friend in Omar who, for my professional work, has let me borrow his gear on the occasions where I've needed to fulfill commitments that I have previously reached prior to the camera taking a hard spill. But I decided to go on Facebook Market and look around for something cheap and affordable to hold and quench my street photography needs. And while I was on there, I ran across a camera that cost $79 for a kit lensed body, extra battery, a leather, you know, carrying case that fits on the camera, which I don't use at all, and some memory cards and a carrying case. And I said, you know what? For $79, it's worth figuring out if it's worth $79. So I went ahead and I picked it up. And originally, the camera, when first announced, was worth $999.99. So no matter where you are, it's over $1,000 US after taxes and stuff when it originally came out. And it originally came out in, well, it was originally announced August of 2013. And it's a format that I had never used before, so I really wanted to give it a fair shake. And it's a micro four third camera. If you've seen some of my Instagram photos recently, you've seen the hashtags I've been using, so you're not going to be caught off guard on what it is. But for those of you who don't follow me, and you don't have to, you're grown people, it is the Lumix GX7. It is a, what is it? It weighs about, what does it say here? 14 ounces, 402 grams. That includes the battery and the memory card, not necessarily with the kit lens. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. Not exactly including the weight of the kit lens. The kit lens is a 14 to 42, which in micro four third means it's a 28 to 84. And even though it's not a really wide focal length, it has felt wider than 28 millimeters when I've been using it on the streets recently. I am looking to purchase a 20 millimeter f1.7 used, but I don't want to invest in this kit. This is not a I'm gonna jump onto micro four thirds going forward, and that's gonna be my next. No. I'm checking this out. I'm enjoying my time with it so far, but it's not amount that I'm going to be jumping onto and starting all over. So the only thing I have left from my original Sony kit is the 100 to 400, and because I'm going to now step away from professional photography, I'm only going to be doing volunteer work and or personal projects. I think I need a camera for birding, street photography, and personal food, fun, whatever I feel like doing. And I think I'm going to replace the A6700 eventually when I feel it's time to spend that money again. I just don't feel like spending that money again, especially now that I've decided professional work is no longer for me. So this little beast right here is going to carry me through my personal adventure. So back to getting a 20 millimeter lens, which would be an equivalent of 40 millimeter, or they also have a 14 millimeter and a 17 millimeter by Olympus. That's another wonderful thing about these micro four third mounts is multiple camera brands support each other in the lens mount format. So I could use Olympus and OM lenses on this Panasonic, and vice versa if I had OM or Olympus. So some of the quirks about this camera, which aren't quirks, they're just different, right? So it has a flippy screen, which is good. Doesn't swing out like some of the Fuji ones, and it's not articulating because it's 2013. What do you expect? It did have this weird flip up viewfinder. So I thought that was weird. I don't think I would ever use it to be, sneaky and creepy like this. "Oh, no one's going to notice I'm taking a picture." No, I don't know what it was for, but it was a good idea. I guess some people use it that way. It has, let me see what it has here. It has 16 megapixels. It can record in 4K 30. It has 2-axis image stabilization. What else does it have? It has 5 frames per second burst mode. It has a contrast detection sensor, so it doesn't have, some of the more modern photo autofocus. But for the stuff I've used it for so far, I haven't had any issues and I haven't had any concerns with it whatsoever. It does offer a touchscreen, which I could use for shifting my focus points. And look at this thing. It's not intimidating. It doesn't oppress you into thinking, "Wow, this guy has this big camera pointed at me." And like I said, it came out with this kit. It came out originally for $1,100 US. $79. I think I've made a perfect intermediate stop between going back to my bird watching with a big boy lens and my A6700 whenever I decide to get that. This camera is going to more than carry me into where I'm going. I've seen some videos out there on Micro Four Third users, which I never looked at before because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was too good for Micro Four Thirds. Based on what I knew about it, my snobby intellectual personality said, "Oh, Micro Four Thirds, get out of here." With the only thing I do experience is with this kit lens. It is where that crop factor does come into play in low light scenarios. Other than that, anything I've wanted to do with this camera, I've been able to do with this camera. So to me, $79, and if I spend maybe another $100 on a used pancake style lens, I think I'm gonna be really set to take this to as a perfect everyday walk around camera outside of my cell phones. Because even though our cell phones are very capable in 2025, I just feel awkward using it as an everyday camera. Nothing wrong with them, as quick grab and shoot something that's going on. But to me, it's not. For me, it should not replace a real camera. And I think, based on the photos, I don't know if I was showing you as I've been talking or if I'm gonna montage them at the end. Either way, I don't feel that a cell phone has replaced what I get out of these cameras. And oh, it also has a flash. I've used it a couple times indoors where I tried to bounce it, and it's just a weird angle, so it's still kind of harsh lighting. But the fact that it brought a flash, you know, back then, it's just amazing. I guess that kind of setup was more common, right? We're losing stuff in 2025 where we used to have everything. Now, don't mind this. This is a inappropriate fitting screen protector, but I always have to have a screen protector on my cameras. That's why you see this little bubble here. But look at all the buttons you're getting here. You're getting a D-pad, you're getting a function button, you're getting a menu. It just has so many customizable buttons. I was really taken aback by how much this camera offered for being a 2013 camera. But I guess, being the 2013 top of the line Micro Four Thirds for Panasonic, I'm not sure if it was top of the line. Maybe they had a GH body or a G body that was higher on the food chain. But this was the top GX camera that came out in 2013, and I've been very happy with it with the time that I've had it. So I've babbled on long enough. Just wanted to let you know why I've been in hiatus, which I didn't really tell you, but that's not really your business. Anyway, thanks for spending a few minutes with me. Take care. Until next time, stay strong, stay positive, always love, respect the beard. Be good.